little bit about myself for those that don't know me yet. You guys will get to see me hopefully at other trainings. I've been in the business 23 years. Okay. I've also had a real estate school for about 12 years. And I think some of you have started to see it on our Instagram accounts and stuff like that, because we will be doing classes for 63 hours for new students at some of our locations, Fort Lauderdale being one of them. So if you have anybody that wants to do Fort Lauderdale area, Broward area, we have a class in place already for Fort Lauderdale. Spanish classes are going to be in Doral. So in case you have somebody that speaks Spanish, and then it will expand. But keep an eye on that. The school is called the Society Real Estate School. So the reason I tell you that is because you're not being taught by somebody that either just started or somebody that doesn't really know. One of my biggest models is a wise, let's say a fool learns from his mistakes, a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. And after 23 years, I have done my good share of mistakes at the very beginning of my business, and I have seen mistakes that others have made throughout the year. Okay. As well as when I became a broker and owned my own brokerage and all of that. And now I am a part of you guys when we merged with Lifestyle. So we're super happy to do that. And of course, I thank George and I thank Sammy for, be able to make this happen for us to bring my team as well. Okay. So let's get started. So today is going to be on the as-is contract. Now, one thing that many of you may not be aware is that there are two contracts. One of them is the FAR bar as is, and one of them is the FAR bar. Okay, that stands for Florida Realtors and the Bar Association of Realtors. And the other one is the regular one, which a lot of people call the standard contract. The biggest difference in that is the inspection period. Okay, the fact that it is not to the buyer's sole discretion. And we'll speak a little bit about that because that's probably where a lot of issues could arise as well. And many of us don't think about it because you automatically go to the as-is contract. But I promise you that if you were to start using the standardized contract, you would probably protect your seller much better in that scenario, because you can limit the cost of what needs to be done. And the buyer has no way to get out of it. Okay. Because if the seller does what they said, if they're going to cover $5,000, then that's it. And we'll talk about that. So there's a couple of things that we'll discuss when it comes to that. And then there's a third contract, which you guys might know it as the crispy contract. That's the CRSP contract. Okay, that one really is not used as much. It's normally for like investors and stuff like that. So we will not be discussing that today. Today, we will discuss the as-is. Now, we'll start with basics. How do you know we're using the as-is contract? Because you go to the bottom of the page, and at the bottom of the page, you guys see that it says Florida Realtors, Florida Bar, as is. Why is this important? Because you need to understand that you have to use the right addendums that go with the correct contract. And many of you might not be aware of that because you look up on Bold Trail. I don't think anybody's using Form Simplicity anymore, and you shouldn't. Bold Trail is the best, to be honest with you. We've been using that for 4 years. So when you look up lead in the search bar, you get two, correct? If you've looked at it, you get two. Sometimes you might just click on the first one that you see, and you don't understand that you're using the incorrect one. Why? Because every addendum, so if you go to the second to last page, where all the addendums are listed, that's page 11, you see that there's a letter on them, correct? Well, the FAR bar as is and the addendums have to match with these letters. If the letters do not match, then you are going to use the incorrect one. What does that mean to you guys in a contract or in a negotiation or once you're getting close to closing? A buyer could be talking to their attorney and saying, I want out. And then the buyer realizes, or the buyer's attorney realizes that the wrong addendums were used. And he says, oh, my buyer is getting out of this contract. You're like, you can't. We're closing tomorrow. Oh, yeah, we can, because we have a voidable contract. A voidable contract basically means that it can be void at any time based on mistakes, errors, or things that were done throughout the contract part. So, for example, you might see here condominium writer is addendum A, but on the regular standard FAR bar contract, that is a completely different letter. So you could be using addendum C to go with the as is. That makes it a voidable contract to begin with. You guys understand that? Okay. So for example, if you look at them here, I don't think I have all of them, but let me see. Okay, yeah, I do. So if you look at this one right here, you see how it says CR7A. I'll open it quickly just so you see it. And how do you know? You always look for the letter. So you see it says A, condominium rider. So now if I look at the contract, it should match, right? A, condominium rider. All right, so let me show you the other A for the standard contract. Where did it go? You know, it's here somewhere. Oh, see, now I don't have the two. Okay, so I'll show you which one it is. Let me show, I have it open. Give me 1 second. Here. This is the standard contract. And I'll show you the letters on the standard contract. Okay, so A match, let's see.
1 second.
But somebody's
1-1.
Okay, so let's see which ones are different. So A is good, right? B is homeowners, C is sellers. Let's look at lead, for example. Lead is P. Am I in the answer?
Okay, thank you.
No.
Okay, thank you.
P and P. So these, you see that? But the thing is that you got to look that it says bar as is. You understand? Now, here's another thing. You guys might be looking at this contract and you've always wondered, what is reserved? Reserved just means, oh, they have an opening for whatever. At some point, they might add some other addendum, right? No, the reserved spaces are for the standard contract. So you see here how they're all filled, right? Because the standard contract. Show me here.
Entré a la tienda y estuve caminando dentro 10 minutos. Era el único lugar donde se podía hacer aire acondicionado.
Guys, you guys gotta mute. You guys gotta mute.
Hi.
Please, everybody, please mute. Elisa, Vivian.
Everybody know how to do this?
Okay, okay.
Audio. Okay. On the little. Yeah, that should be for us.
Can everyone mute themselves, please?
Normally it's up here.
Or we have to go by person.
What about participants? You should be able to mute everybody.
We should be.
Yeah.
You're right.
Let's choose participants. Try that. See what happens.
Yeah, there you go.
When mute themselves, you can check.
Unmute themselves. Take that off.
It's not working.
Who is this person? Because we can mute her for right now.
Vivian is talking. Oh,
Okay, right there. Mute that one.
Okay.
There you go. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. Okay. Okay, so as you see, this one is here. Yes. It's the standard contract. It's the standard FAR bar contract. So I just want to show you that it's important to know about the addendums. That's it. Okay. All right. Now let's start from page 1, guys. And we'll continue to see things like that. So I'll show you. All right. So page 1, the biggest thing about a contract is that I wrote the word on the board, ambiguity. You never want to add anything that makes the contract ambiguous. Okay. Meaning we are not attorneys. We're not supposed to act as attorneys. So you shouldn't add things that make it not answer all the questions that an attorney would answer. For example, the who, the what, the why, the how, and the where, or the when, right? But many of us, we write into the additional terms and we just add blankly, like, buyer will pay, buyer accepts $5,000 from seller. When, how, when is it paid, etc. Those are important things, right? That's why you should only let attorneys write those things, or if not, at least speak to your broker, right? I mean, George is going to go crazy, but at least speak to the partners, right? Just to get an answer, because sometimes it could be that they already have automatic clauses that you are allowed to use to cover something like that. And then we'll also talk about the addendums that exist that already might cover what you are looking to add. Okay, so a lot of agents don't understand how many forms that Florida Realtors has already created for you to be able to use to say the exact same thing that you add. Okay, so we'll discuss that as well. So ambiguity is important, and we'll come back to that multiple times. All right, so now seller and buyer names. How do you get the seller's name? IMAP?
CPA,
Huh?
CPA.
Okay, what else? All right, now, what else should you double check? The deed. Who said that? Thank you. Perfect. All right. Incredible. You should always double check the deed. So those that are online, unfortunately, are going to be able to see what I write. But it is important. So I'm going to write two names on here, and you guys tell me how you should write it on the contract, right? So let's see.
Right. Video. There
Okay,
we go.
so let's try Jose Diaz. Those that have been to my class don't speak out as to what I'm saying. Let everybody else say it. And let's say. Okay. If you are putting a contract together right now, for those that are online, I wrote Jose Diaz LE and Maria Diaz REM. Okay, REM. How would you write that out into the seller's area? Tell me. No, but tell me, read it to me. How would you write it out? Just say it out loud. Come on, guys. Just say it. Read it. Read it to me. Uh-huh. Okay, why? Because many of you might think that that's part of the last name. Do you understand that? That is 100% incorrect. But if you had the warranty deed, okay, what's your name again? Like Michael said, you would know and understand that this stands for life estate. And if you remember what you learned in 63 hours, now for you, it might be a long time, right? And this stands for remainderment. Okay, so why is that important? Because if you write it out, LE and REM on your contract, that's already not correct. That's already a possible voidable contract. Because that means that you are telling the title company that you want the contract to be written that way, or whatever closing documents they got to work on to be written that way. But that's not how it is. If you look at the warranty deed, and you should get into the habit as of today, start downloading the warranty deed and add it to your contract, add it to Bolt Trail and have it there. Because that way nobody can ever challenge you that you did not follow what's already written by the government, right? How the city has it, how the state has it, etc. Right? So how should it be written? It should be written as Jose Diaz as a life estate, Maria Diaz as remainderment. Okay. And if you look at the warranty deed will specifically tell you how to write it. Now, let's talk about life estate and go one more step. How many of you understand what is the difference between a regular life estate and an enhanced life estate?
Waiver deed and then life estate deed.
But what's the difference?
One's on title, one's not.
Perfect. So if you have a life estate, which is a basic life estate, you need both people to sign the contract. You need both Jose and Maria to sign. And let's say Jose and Maria are still alive. Let's say Jose and Maria are still married. You have been taught all your life as a real estate agent that husband and wife go on contract, correct? But if we have a life estate that is enhanced, nope, that's not true. The person that holds the life estate has the right to sell the property, convey the property without the other person's signature.
That's enhanced.
It is an enhanced life estate. Now, again, where are you going to see that? On the warranty deed. On the warranty deed, you will see Jose Diaz, Life Estate, has the right to convey property, sell it, gift it, whatever, okay? And that automatically tells you, I don't need both signatures. You understand that? That is incredibly important. Why? Because you need to understand how to fill out the contract, okay? Now, let's get away from this and let's talk about LLCs, let's talk about corps, let's talk about incs, all right? One of the biggest mistakes that agents make, and guys, I will tell you mistakes. I will straight up call them out as mistakes, okay? Because I'm here to teach you what's wrong and what's right. One of the biggest mistakes agents do is that they go ahead and put, I don't know, Miami Real Estate Investment Inc., Miami Real Estate Investment Corp., Miami Real Estate Investment LLC. And you do that for both buyers or sellers, whoever it is that you're representing. That is incorrect. Because if you only put the company name, the person that signed could be anyone, number one. Now, you've been taught that you immediately go where to check it? Sundays. What are you checking for?
The agent, the representative.
Okay, you're checking for that person. That's the representative, has the right to sign, right? Okay, let's say something goes wrong on the contract. Somebody wants out. Can they get out? The answer is yes. At the end of the day, if this goes to an attorney, if this goes into litigation, they can get out. Why? Because you're not holding anybody responsible, only the company. Guess what the company can do at the end of the day? Bankrupt, and that's it. So we're talking about, I'm not talking about a $200,000, $300,000 house, guys. I'm talking about a major deal. Let's say it's a $5 million house, a $10 million house, a $15 million house. Literally, they could just bankrupt it and you didn't hold anybody accountable. You're supposed to put, let's say Jose Diaz is part of that company or the LLC, and you have already confirmed that, right? So you should put Jose Diaz as whatever Sunbase says, as manager, as representative, as owner, whatever it is, of Miami Real Estate Investment LLC. Because now you are holding him responsible. Does everybody see the difference? The whole thing. Yeah, and everything. And guys, I know that you're going to be like, oh, but it doesn't allow me to. Yes, it does. If you go on Bold Trail and you pull down on the line, you can write 5 lines if you want, okay? And as much as you type into Bold Trail, what happens to the letters? They get smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So that is incredibly important for you guys to use. That goes for both buyers and sellers.
Well, there's 2 managers.
If both need to sign, now sometimes both need to sign, right? So that is a question that you ask when? At listing presentation or a buyer consultation. It is important that when you guys hold buyer consultations or listings presentations, you ask all these questions.
Confirm that information that they're giving you, because they can tell you, I'm the only one that needs to sign, but there might be 3 that need to.
So you are allowed to ask for an operating agreement, guys. You are allowed to ask for it. The problem is that many of you do not. Or first time probably you're hearing about an operating agreement. That's okay. I'm here to answer all those questions. So please, I love questions. Don't stay quiet because I'll answer it. So an operating agreement is just something that the partners have written together that say, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for that. It could be that one is responsible for looking at how the company is ran. It could be that one person has the right to sign checks, sign this, sign that. So, you know, and those are things that you have to ask for.
They have a contract like this or no?
No.
No?
That's not really their responsibility. Their responsibility is to double check that the transaction goes right. Now, some of them, and I only tell you some of them because I ran into those that don't do everything that should be done, right? Some of them will double check that and ask for operating agreements or ask for that. But it is important for you to create a good relationship with your vendors to say, hey, I'm the type that I need everything. So I need you to please double check that this is who can sign, this is that. But keep in mind, who's the first one that sees this? Is it the title company? It's you. So you cannot tell somebody we're under contract or we're effective when you haven't double checked that. So you cannot, and another thing, most title companies won't start the work until after when? Inspection. Because they don't want to waste their time. They don't want to waste their valuable assets. Do you understand? It costs money to do a permit check. It costs money to do a lien check. So for you to do an they wait for an inspection. That's another reason why it's not good for you guys to put 15 days or 12 days or whatever. But that's, that's another story. We'll get into that as well. Yes.
What if I have a client right now, it's owned by an LLC and the manager is a Wyoming company? How would you suggest this whole thing?
So again, that's something that it is important for you to ask one of the general partners, so they can ask whoever. Who else can you reach out to that it's free to us? Guys, I call them almost daily.
The legal line?
The legal hotline. You have no idea how much I always answer the questions to my team. And then I tell them, hey, even though I've answered your question, do me a favor. I don't care if you're going to be on the legal hotline for 30 minutes, get an answer from them. And then most of the times they confirm, whatever. Okay. They'll confirm as to what you should do. If they don't give you that answer, is because they can't give you that answer. So, and they'll tell you, okay, what I just told you, go to your broker. Your broker probably has an attorney on call, and then the attorney is going to tell you how to fill it out. That's important, guys. So you understand why companies do that is for protection purposes. So if they ever get sued, they're not following state law, they're following Wyoming law, Delaware law, etc. So those laws could be completely different. So it's harder to fight them. Similar? Mm-hmm.
But what about if the owner of that company, he has a trust because he doesn't want a visibility?
So again, we're getting into that finite information. You can only get that through an attorney as to how to write that. Okay. So it is important, but you see, now you guys are getting to the point where, like, wait a second, it requires me to ask more questions. That's the point, guys. You never answer something that you don't have the answer to. And you also, I believe in learning. Knowledge is power. At 23 years in the business, ask my agents, I still go to association classes. And I tell them all the time, if I go to association classes, it's not because I need it, it's because I believe I could probably pick up one more thing. Okay. So imagine what you guys can pick up going to an association class. Okay, so it is important, okay, to go to more classes because that's how you're going to get one more question answered, okay? All right, so let's continue. We're past the seller-buyer names. IDs is important. You can ask the buyer. It is okay for you to ask the buyer for IDs. Most of the times, remember, buyers don't know what is needed, right? That's why you should do what with every buyer?
Ask for their ID.
No, but what should you do when you first contact them? So they contacted you either through a referral or something. What should you do immediately? Set up a what? A consultation, guys. A buyer consultation. I do not show properties without a buyer consultation. I have a buyer consultation coming up on Friday. And straight up, I told her I do not show properties. Okay. I had somebody else call me on the listing. And then I said, oh, you can have your agent, because of course I followed up, asked the questions. You can have your agent, reach out to me. And she's like, I asked, okay. She's like, yeah, she's kind of helping me. Once she answered that, my follow-up was, did you sign something? No, I haven't signed anything. What does that tell me? I have an opening. So guess what? I said, I will not show you properties until I do buyer consultations. Your first time buying a property, and you need all the answers to your questions. I don't ever want you to sign something with not understanding. And there's a possibility I have a follow-up call today that I will also have that buyer consultation. So I don't care. If you're not a professional agent and signing your clients, then they're all mine. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, so that's how you guys have to think, period. Okay, you need to start being stronger about your business and how you represent them. Okay. All right, and that's where you ask for IDs, guys. I always get their IDs. All right, so street address, we all know where to get it. Guys, the number one thing that I'm going to tell you, if you're going to get it from property records, do it exactly how property records says. So if it says apartment, write out apartment, exactly how it is there. Don't start creating something. If it has a pound symbol, put the pound symbol, okay? Because it is harder for them to fight the fact that you did not acquire the information from property records. Because if you take off the pound symbol and something arises, now here's one example of where you didn't copy it as it should. Here's another example is where you didn't put as you should. And now it just bundles up as two mistakes that you have made. Does everybody get it? Okay, so I am helping you write a bulletproof contract. So nobody can come at you for mistakes, okay? Same goes for located in what county, same goes for tax ID number, make sure to do that. And of course, the biggest, most important one is legal description. Now, legal description, most of us go straight to IMAP, copy and paste it, right? So let's talk about that first. Number one, if you're gonna do that, just make sure not to miss anything. And that includes symbols, punctuations, anything. If, for example, there's a number at the end, right? Let's say it ends in like 1102. And because you're doing copy and paste, you might be doing quickly. You might be doing it at 2 a.m. I've done that as well. And you missed the 2. That is called a voidable contract. Now to you, remember, you're looking at stuff at 2 a.m. You look at numbers. It looks great. I filled it out. It looks just like IMAP. I go back and forth and I look at it. It looks great. That is a voidable contract because now you're putting an offer or you're accepting an offer for a property that does not exist. Or it could be the neighbor's house because you removed the 2. Do you understand that? And that goes for punctuations as well. Now, I would go even further and I would add on the contract after you write the legal description, parentheses, see attached warranty deed for full description. Okay? It is okay for you to add more paperwork that protects you, your buyer, than not. Because you already wrote what's on record, right? Why not also attach the warranty deed with your offer? And now nobody can fight you. You wrote down the name of the owners exactly as the warranty deed says it. You wrote down the legal description. And on top of that, I'm giving you the full legal description as well. So can anybody fight on the mistakes that you have made? No. Does everybody see that? Okay, yes. No, you can just add the warranty deed to it. But what I'm saying is on here, where it says legal description, it's okay for you to write in see warranty deed for full description. Because you're just, yeah, right here on line 11 already. No, because it on the warranty deed, it says warranty deed, right? So it says warranty deed on the warranty deed itself. So you're saying see attached warranty deed. That's it. You're just saying.
One attorney also wants advice to add the property ID next to the legal description.
But it's already here. Yeah. So that's okay. All right. So now let's get to the fun part because we'll probably talk about this for about 20 minutes. Okay. Because this is where many mistakes come. And just so you see, okay, let me see if I can show you. Yes, what's the question?
And I'm watching.
Okay, tell me the question and then I'll go ahead and
What somebody does that I have a question.
What's the question?
Oh, she said
Yeah.
I have a question. Okay.
Okay.
I can't unmute myself.
Oh, I don't know how to unmute her
In the chat name.
on the chat. Can they write it and then
Right. And
let me see how to unmute them. Oh, I see her. Give me a second. It says to ask to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. So in the event that like you write the seller's name wrong, right? Which has happened to me a few times, and then we typically issue like, we write up like an addendum, correcting the name, and you have the warranty deed, like you're saying, to attach. So if I write the name wrong, I don't need to then go in and fix it, right? Because then the warranty.
No. You should always fix it. Always.
Okay.
Once you guys figure out that there's a mistake in something, fix it, guys. 100%. Now, I'll tell you one mistake that goes with that. I know we've always been taught if you make a mistake on page 5, just fix the mistake on page 5 and send that. You should never, ever just send that page. You should send a complete page 1 through 13. Does everybody understand that? That's incredibly important because, again, what I'm trying to do with this class, guys, is to protect you. I'm sorry if the other agents haven't taken a class. I'm sorry if the other agents are being taught incorrectly. I'm teaching you correctly to protect you, to protect the company, to protect George as the broker. Okay, so you should also include the entire pages 1 through 13, not just page 5. Okay, so yes, always fix it, always correct it. Okay, I want to, if you give me 1 second, it's gonna take too long. I wanted to show you, so I just send in an offer. Maybe it comes in while we're looking at. I send in an offer to an agent that I have the listing on. They send me the offer, and it has to do with this area right here. And I wanted to show you what I sent to them. So lines 15 through, let's talk through 22. Personal property is included. Okay, personal property is included is what's going into the contract. Right? Everybody knows that. Has everybody read what is automatic in there yet? What are 2 things that should be there that a buyer automatically thinks it's included in the sale? Everybody should know this. Washer and dryer, right? So what do you do? You add them on line 21, right? So everybody adds them on line 21. Are we good?
Yeah.
Washer and dryer. Okay. What else is not there that should be there? Everybody knows washer and dryer. You guys know Wheel of Fortune. If you used to watch Wheel of Fortune at the very beginning, they never gave you automatic letters. But now they give you 5 automatic letters. Why? Because everybody used to say R, S, T, L, N, and E or whatever. Okay. What is it? Nope. But for example,
They're saying microwave.
Microwave. It's not there. And many of you don't even add it. So guess what? There could be a hole there and now we have a problem, right? Okay. Refrigerator is already there. Okay, but here's the main thing, and let's talk about these issues that arise. Okay, so I wanted. Oh, I think I do have the offer he made. Okay, so I do have the offer. I'm not going to show you who the agent is, but whatever. Give me 1 second. So I just received this offer. Let me show you. Yeah, and you guys got to be careful. If you ever send me an offer, I might use it out of class. So I'm just letting you know in advance. Okay, disclaimer 100%. All right, so if you look, you see here, circuit breaker, dishwasher, dryer. I mean, it's kind of hard for somebody to take a circuit breaker, but has it happened? Yeah, during the crash, guys, that happened a lot. People would also take the shutters, and then guess what they would do? Resell them to the new owner. They would come back and be like, hey, just want you to know these shutters match your property exactly. I can resell them. So, okay, circuit breaker, dishwasher, dryer, electric water heater, ice maker, microwave, electric range, refrigerator, self-cleaning oven, washer. Now, some of you might have been doing that in the past. I don't ever want you to do the following from this moment on. If refrigerator is there, why are you rewriting refrigerator? Because what are you telling them? That now there are 2 refrigerators. Thank you. See, she's part of my team. See, that's why she. So what have you done? You have added ambiguity into the contract. Remember, I told you we're going to be coming back to that word, ambiguity. Now you basically are telling people there's 2 refrigerators because there's already a refrigerator. Now, if I should have signed up to Boltro before we started, so you guys would see my response to him. My response to him was at the end, in additional terms. Buyer understands that there is only 1 refrigerator, which is already in lines, and you always got to mention, remember what I told you, the who, the what, the when, the where, the how, all of that, which is already placed between lines 15 and 20, right? And also, he wrote ice maker. What is that telling? What is that saying? That it is a machine that makes ice. But no, the ice maker is inside the refrigerator. Do you guys understand this? I know that you guys have received offers like this because if I get them, I know you guys are getting them. And if you are doing this, that is 100% incorrect. Now, hello. Hi, nice to meet you. Go ahead. Let's see. Now, who knows what a Sub-Zero is? What's a Sub-Zero, guys? It's a fridge, but what's important about the Sub-Zero? The price. A Sub-Zero can range anywhere, probably the cheapest one, probably a used one, 15 grand to hundreds of thousands of dollars if it's going to match the kitchen and this and that, and you can walk into it, whatever. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Well, Should you just leave what's already there that says refrigerator? No, you should immediately state on there, refrigerator mentioned on line 17 is a Sub-Zero. It is okay for you to even put the model number. It is okay for you to even put which model, what the name of that Sub-Zero is. So what am I telling you? If you are new in the business and you have never heard of a Sub-Zero, if you have never heard of a Viking range, if you've never heard of a Wolf range, if you've never heard of Melee appliances, guess what one of your homework should be? No, what should be one of the things that you guys do? Which means you're going to go and visit sellers of these appliances. It is important for you guys to understand what you're selling or what you're helping your buyer buy, because you are the first line of protection for them. There are investors, guys. In my 23 years, I did run into one investor that switched out the refrigerator right before closing. I'd walk through, that was noticed, but guess what happened? It wasn't in the contract. Exactly. He has every right. He has every right to change that refrigerator to a white refrigerator. It could be used. It does not have to be what they saw at the inspection. It also cannot be how many of you like to fight this and say, hey, Yuri, on your MLS pictures, the refrigerator was a Sub-Zero. Yeah, and what? I'm allowed to do that. I took the pictures of the fridge. Can a property be staged? Yes. Okay. He staged it with a Sub-Zero. That's your fault for not including that the Sub-Zero is the one in sale. So you need to start understanding these things. Yes, you had a question.
One of my friend's clients, he went to the property and he saw a nest for the AC control. And at the end, when he went to the walkthrough, it wasn't the nest that he saw in first.
Perfect.
So who paid the
agent?
nest? The agent.
Yeah, if you don't want to lose the deal, you're going to end up paying. No, that's right. Yeah, that's right. But imagine, let's say it's a $600,000 property, right? 6 times 3, let's say you're getting lucky, you're making 18 grand, but the Sub-Zero got taken. I mean, that Sub-Zero could be 30 grand. Does everybody understand that? Okay. And you need to start understanding what errors and omissions insurance does for you. Certain things it'll cover, certain things that might not cover. There's also a difference between civil lawsuits and not. So those are very important things that you guys need to keep into account. That's why we're doing this class. Now, I'm going to give you a trick because there's also other things that you guys are not writing into contract, or at least things that you are not asking about. So everybody do this with your hands right here. Everyone. Come on, put up your hand up. I need you to imagine that you are holding the house in your hand. And I mean the property all the way to the fence. Okay? Now turn it upside down and you're going to shake it. Whatever is loose and falls is not part of the deal. So that means you might have to ask for it. Let's say there's a shed in the backyard and it fell, but your buyer wants that shed. What do you need to make sure to do? Do you understand that? Now, is this covering the shed anyways, even if it's on a concrete slab? No. So you need to cover it. You need to put it in there. Solar panels. And I know up here in Fort Lauderdale, you guys don't have a lot of this, but down south, we have the Redlands, we have Homestead. There's a lot of farm areas. What is one question, if you have the listing or if you have the buyer, that you should always ask the seller, let's say, hey, Mr. Seller, are these included? What is these? The trees. Thank you. See, again, she goes to my classes because she's one of our age. So the trees, guys, you guys don't ask. You should ask. Guys, we have areas down south that the seller spends about 20 to 30 grand per palm tree. And it could be that they're moving, maybe leaving you 3, but they're taking 5 of them. Yeah. And a lot of people love their orange trees. A lot of people love their lychee trees. I adore lychee. So if you guys have a lychee tree and you have them right now, because season's right now, let me know and I'll go buy them. I don't care. Okay. But yeah, they will take the tree. And that's when you're going to have a buyer at closing that orange tree that they had already imagined with their kids to put a swing on it and to have for the rest of their life is gone. Okay. But it's not included in the contract. That's my point. What matters in the transaction, in the deal, is what's stated in the contract. Our tree is there. Yeah. So you can, right? But that's my point. Those are things that you need to make sure. Now, yes, they are attached. There's certain things that are probably not going to be removed. Do you understand that? Okay, like a fence. They're not completely going to take out the fence, so I don't want you to start listing it. But those are things that you need to start thinking about, specialty things, right? Like fruit trees. Down south, people love fruit trees, okay? I haven't seen a wall of a fence, like a fence that's built out of a wall, be taken away. Does everybody understand that? You got to be a little more specific to that. But like she mentioned, a thermostat. It does cover thermostat. But again, they could go out and switch it for a $6 thermostat from Home Depot. So you need to put Nest thermostat. So now, how do you prevent that? Okay, so there's a couple of mistakes that agents do when they're showing properties, and hopefully you stop making those mistakes. Our job is not to be an HGTV agent, okay? You don't want to be an HGTV agent. What do? They open the door, they walk in, oh, look at this beautiful living room, look at this beautiful, no. Okay, so if the listing agent is there, normally a listing agent will say, hey, Yuri, would you like me to present it or would you like to do the presentation? Why would I do the presentation? Do I know the property? So let the listing agent present the property, okay? And if they don't ask you that question, then you put them in, you tell them, hey, can you do me a favor, present the property for my client? Okay, now, where's the next problem? A lot of these top agents use what? Buyer agents. Now, I want you guys from this moment on, new agents, buyer agents, to start holding all listing agents accountable. Okay? They need to present the property to you first and teach you how their seller wants their property to be presented. Because we represent the seller if we are listing agents. Our job is to do the best possible job for sellers. Sending a buyer agent that knows nothing about the property doesn't help us. And giving them a sheet that has the explanation doesn't help us. And trust me, I have these, exactly what I'm telling you is what I do with listing agents, okay? I don't care, they sell $20 million houses, $100 million houses, I don't care. And one of the things that I despise the most, and you guys will get to know me, don't ask me how your hair looks because I'll be straight up on your hair, okay? You can tell me how my hair looks all the time, okay? But one thing that I don't like is when they're doing a broker's open or any open house at all, and they know that I'm a real estate agent, and they just tell me, Yuri, go ahead and walk it and let me know if you have any questions. What is the wrong part that you are doing to your seller at that point? Isn't that a disservice to your seller? Because instead of taking the time to only present it to buyers that walk into that open house, which is one buyer, why wouldn't you take the time to present it to all agents that might have multiple buyers? Because now we can sell it. Do you guys see the mentality in that? So please start doing that, okay? So hopefully you've understood the importance of adding property stuff. And again, pictures on the MLS do not protect you. The MLS itself does not protect you. Any attorney will tell you, I don't care what the MLS says. I don't care what now, if they work for the buyer and they want the buyer out, they'll use that against you. Trust me. But they'll tell you what matters is what's in the contract, period. Are we good? Now, things to remove from the contract. So when you meet a buyer, oh, I just killed a little caterpillar. Sorry. When you meet a seller, right, you should walk the property at your listing presentation and you need to ask, Mr. Seller, Are you taking this? Are you taking that? You need to take accountability of all of that. How many ceiling fans there are. If you see a type of light fixture that's not your basic light fixture, I guess the best way to answer it, to kind of use somebody else's example that said, if I can't afford it because of the commission, I'm going to ask about it. If it's a regular light fixture that I know Home Depot is going to cost me $50, I don't care. But if I know that that light fixture is going to cost me $500, $300, I'm going to ask. Are you taking that? Are you not taking that? Are you taking this nest? Are you taking the cameras? Are you taking this fruit tree? Are you taking this? Are you taking that? Okay. You guys have to kind of stop going to listing presentations and telling them all the beautiful things that you see about the property. Yes, I understand that at a certain point, you got to make them believe that you love their home because that's what you want to do and sell it. But at the same time, they want a professional. Yes.
Question. So like, when you include all these items into the personal property items, is there like a, like for example, like I'll get a contract and it'll include furniture, but then the lender will be like, well, hey, we can't include furniture in the appraised value.
Right.
So are there like by default some personal properties that would be like that encompasses the house and then they get affected?
Okay, that's a great question. So let's talk about what he said. He is asking about furniture and how you put that into contract. Number one, we are not furniture salesmen. You need to understand. So when all we can do at listing, if the seller were to say, hey, and the furniture, your question to that seller has to be, Mr. Seller, are you telling me that this price includes all furnishings? Because all we are allowed to do is sell a property furnished or unfurnished. Do you see the difference between specifics? Now, if they say, no, Yuri, if they want the bed, if they want this, if they want that, then, we'll negotiate that. No. I don't put a list together. Mr. Seller, what I need you to do is put a list together, and I don't have a problem passing this on to the buyer's agent's representative and having them pass it on. Now, keep in mind, Mr. Seller, when you put a value to those items, you need to also include tax, because tax needs to be paid. Because now you are also responsible. And now I'm gonna scare you on another thing. We love to text, right? The moment you do not mention things like that, you are not protecting yourself, because they are quick to say, you told them to do it this way. You did not tell them to do this, okay? Now, Lisette, I love that she's here because she does ethics committee board, right? And I know that she overhears a lot of these things and mistakes and errors that agents make. And that is one of the big ones. Oh, you texted this? That's a problem, because you just put it out there. Hey, keep a copy of my text. And I'm the one that told you, yeah, I'll go ahead and mention to them about the bed and don't worry about the tax. What do you mean? So that what I'm telling you is, hey, Mr. Seller, please go ahead and create a separate list of the furnitures that you want to go ahead and sell. I'll go ahead and pass it on. Just keep in mind to please include tax for each item. 100%.
So it'd be just like a separate.
A separate. And normally most mortgage lenders don't really want to know about that. So that becomes a whole separate thing, right? So that's what he's asking. So I love that he's here as well, because he's helping get the right answer questions for you guys. Okay. So yes. Now, as far as the items, you guys are going to tell me, well, Yuri, what if you're telling me to add the tree and add this and that we don't have enough space for that? It is okay for you to add an attached addendum, which now goes back to what she said. You can add addendum number 1, because you know how the blank page addendum says add addendum number? Make addendum number 1. So you can put on there, see addendum number 1 for full list, okay? If it's allowed. And now, what does that mean? That also requires a signature. Does everybody get that? Or an initial, okay? So yes, you can do that. And the same goes for line 24, the items that are excluded. So again, you ask the seller, what is not for sale? It is your job to ask, hey, what about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? Do you understand that? But not things that are not attached. Like, for example, if it's a countertop microwave, you're not going to ask them. Are we good? Okay, so So, things that are attached, that like the shed, for example, solar panels, important. Now, solar panels, you also got to ask, is this a lease? Is that completely paid off, purchase? That's very important, right? Some of them are not transferable, so those are important questions to ask. All right, so now let's go into the pricing. So now you guys understand why I said this is a 6-hour class. We already did 1 hour and we already passed 30 lines, okay? The price. So price, of course, you guys are going to do a CMA. Hopefully you guys do a CMA. Oh, let me talk to you guys about CMA if you've never heard this. The state of Florida rule is that you are supposed to keep a copy of your CMAs on file. The brokerage is supposed to keep a copy of CMAs on file. That means one that you create for your buyers and one that you create for your sellers. Why? There have been already multiple lawsuits against real estate agents promising sellers that they can sell it at $500,000 when the CMA basically says it can only sell for $400,000. And they haven't kept a CMA on file and they lose that lawsuit straight up. Okay, 100%. And
When did this happen?
I can't remember. Well, no, that's always been that you need a CMA. Yeah, on file. Yeah.
See, I learned something new tonight, guys.
Yes, 100%. That's always been. It's just that nobody does it. Yeah, trust me. There's a lot of things that, like, for example, when I told you about getting IDs, when I first began into the business, it was set on stone that we had to get IDs for it, but for multiple reasons, right? Also protection, identification, stuff like that. And that at some point stopped being the thing that we did, and then people stopped doing it. And we're about to get to a bunch of the things that happen like that. Okay, so start keeping your CMAs, guys, which means what? You need to take classes on CMAs if you don't know how to do CMAs, right? So I'll talk to Mikey and putting one of those together. I love to teach CMAs. So if you want designations, there's a designation called the PSA designation, which is a pricing strategy advisor designation. That's a good one. It's a 1-day class. Okay, so it's pretty good. It's not really going to teach you how to do CMAs, but it'll teach you a lot of the concepts of CMAs. All right. So price, everybody knows, you understand why you're putting a price together. Then comes the deposit right now. Back in the days, we were taught to work with percentages. That doesn't matter anymore, guys. If you make me an offer for the seller, I guide my sellers on what is the best option. At the end of the day, seller has the decision. At the end of the day, buyer has the decision. But if you send me an offer on a $500,000 property with $1,000 deposit, trust me, I'm countering that in a second. And my seller will look at it because why? At listing presentation, I've already explained to him how we're going to work this transaction, because I need to show him and present him that I'm the best negotiator for him. So I've already highlighted a contract. When you go to a listing presentation or even a buyer consultation, you should print out a contract and highlight the most important items that you want to go over with them. Because remember, now buyers have to pay you commission, okay? Basically, so you need to provide information to them that they've never heard in their life, or things that they've never seen in their life, okay? I have agents that still tell me, oh, you're not paying this? Oh, man, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, get it from your buyer. Oh, man, I don't do that. Okay. I've gotten more money as a buyer agent than listing agents. Why? Because I have my buyers cover me. They don't cover all of it, but they'll cover me. And I end up making more. And then I have the listing agent reach out to me after closing. Hey, Yuri, how did you make more money than me? Well, because I got the buyer to cover part of it. Okay, so that's our job, guys. I mean, an attorney doesn't let you go. If you go to an attorney, hey, the guy next door is charging $1,000. I say, okay, go next door. Period. Straight up. They're not going to be like, oh, no, I don't want to lose you. A new attorney might, but that's it, right? So that's important, okay? So now, deposit. You can do it multiple ways. This is per transaction. All transactions are different. I'm going to give you the way I do it. Now, this is not what the state says or whatever. This is just all negotiation. Remember, everything in real estate is negotiable, but you got to do it in a right mindset. So, for example, if somebody is putting FHA, what is the maximum down that they got to do? 3.5. So if we're talking about a $500,000 property times 3.5, what is that? Somebody tell me quickly. Math guy. 17,000. Okay, that means that I have $17,000 to play with. Does everybody understand that? So if they send me an offer with $1,000, I'll be like, no, I want 5 first deposit and I want 10 second deposit. I'll never use up their whole thing, right? And now I have $15,000 under deposit. And we'll talk about second deposit, okay? But if it's a conventional $20,000 and that ends up being 100 grand, I'm not going to get them to 100 grand. I need something that makes it comfortable for the buyer, right? Let's say to understand that you really want this property. I want to show the seller I am serious about this property. But Mr. Buyer, you could lose this money if you do things incorrectly, okay? And to the seller, I'm the listing agent. I want to show the seller this guy's serious, so I'm going to fight for more. And in case anything were to happen that goes against the contract, remember, against the contract, you might have the possibility to keep all of it or some of it. I never promise everything. So all those conversations are had at listing presentation or a buyer consultation. Okay? Yes.
So what would be, because this is like a buyer agent part, what would be a like an attractive deposit?
I probably
I'm a buyer agent, you're a listing agent.
Yeah.
It's 5% down conventional loan. Like what would be like? What do you make with that?
I always feel comfortable with at least 20 in there, at least minimum. 15 maybe the least, but mostly on mine, I try to keep at least 20. So I break it down either 5 or 15 or 5 and 10. Now, what matters is how much time you give them on the second deposit. So let's say you put an inspection period of 7 and title work is normally at 15, right? That's what the contract automatically states. I normally look at how much closing dates it is. If it's a 30-day closing, if the loan period is 20 days, then I want to make sure that the second deposit is in right before loan period. So I might give them 15, 17. Most of the times I give them about 20 days. Okay. Why? Because most buyers will make a decision after inspection and appraisal. And appraisal normally gets done within 14 to 15 days. Correct? Am I wrong? I mean, there are still some banks or whatever that might take a little bit longer, but that is also your responsibility to stay on top of them. Okay? When I get a buyer, guys, on my listing, first call I do is to the mortgage broker. Hey, mortgage broker, I'm just introducing myself. My name is Yuri Flores. I'm calling for the seller. Hey, how does this buyer look, man? I want to make sure because I'm about to go into a conversation with the seller. I want to make sure that I give them that. And normally they'll say, Yuri, this is awesome, whatever. So they promise me that they can close in this many days. They promise me that I can get loan approval within this many days. Is that possible? Yes. Okay. Now I have you. Now I have him as well. What does that do? You are showing every party that you are a professional. The problem that happens is that agents go into contract and it's like, okay, that's it. That's my job. No, your job does not stop the moment you're under contract. Your job begins the moment you're under contract. That's the way I see it. Because your job is to close that deal, not just to get things under paper. Do you guys understand that? Okay. So if you do everything right and you follow the right steps, then that's how you get deals that never fall through. Knock on wood. I hardly get deals that fall through. Hardly. Okay. And trust me, it wasn't because of me. Okay. So that's very important to start protecting yourself. All right. So now let's talk about escrow deposit, 10,000 like you put here. Now, does anybody understand what the difference is between the first box that says a company's offer and the second box that says, what is your name? No. Carolina, what is the difference? Because you're shaking your head that you know. Perfect. So why would that be better? Why is that better?
Buyer's more serious.
They're already committed and the buyer's more serious. Now, most of the time you make an offer and you use the second box, which is okay, right? That's fine. But let's say that deal falls through. But the buyer you're already sending the buyer a cancellation. Hey, Mr. Buyer, here you go. The title company wants to know where you want the funds. Why? That is not what you guys should tell them. That should be another conversation in your buyer consultation. Hey, Mr. Buyer, just to let you know, remember I told you that I highlight the contract and go over it? Just to let you know what this means and why it might be better. If we make the first offer and that deal falls through, I know that your first instinct is let's remove the money because you want it in your bank. The best option is for the next offer for me to say accompanies the offer. because that makes you more serious. All I have to do is call the title company and say, hey, send me a new escrow letter with a new address with this deposit. Doesn't that make the offer 10 times better? Now, when you talk to the listing agent, because unfortunately, not every listing agent understands that box. Why? Because again, they've been taught to only use box number 2. So now I tell the listing agent, hey, Maria, just letting you know that the escrow is already entitled. Let them know that my buyer is very serious. I'm already sending you an escrow letter already. Does everybody understand the difference in that scenario? Okay, so that's important to see why you would use or not use this. Okay, now what does that mean to you as an agent? What are you doing as well? You're protecting yourself. Why? Why, guys? Think about it. Why are you protecting yourself by using that box?
Give you extra time to make a deposit, start right away.
Nope. Because it is unlikely for them to have buyer's remorse. Once you have given them back their $10,000, they sleep it over and they're like, we're going to wait. The money's already there. That already tells you, Yuri, let's continue looking. Do you guys understand that? I'm helping you keep your clients, right? Yes.
You want them to like let's say I give you the pre-approval, right? What do you want like them to like
put it in, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Remember I told you this is what used to be done back in the days? That is another thing that used to be done back in the days. You would meet the client and you'd be like, hey, listen, the best thing to do, we have an in-house title company. The best thing to do is put money in escrow right now. So that way, when you make an offer, it already accompanies the offer. Yes or no, Lisette? Perfect. That's it.
Absolutely.
Again, a lot of things that were basically done back then, at some point were removed. I have no idea who started it, and then everybody just follows the herd. Don't follow the herd. That's what I'm kind of trying to tell you. Yes.
If I'm a buyer agent, I'm telling to my buyer, okay, let's do. The listing agent is requesting 2 escrow deposits. The first one, you deposit in the title company.
Yeah, always in the title company.
And the second one as well.
Yeah.
What's happening in the inspection?
The inspection falls through.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have the right. Remember, inspection period, if you use the as is, which this class is about the as is contract, there's one word. So I'm going to show you what to highlight. Okay. This is the most important thing to mention to a seller. To a buyer, doesn't really matter because you are protecting the buyer and you're going to tell them, yeah, you can cancel, whatever. But to a seller, sellers do not understand. And remember, you want to keep your seller happy. The best way to do it is by already explaining things that could go wrong in the transaction. That's the problem. Agents just want to talk about beauty. And no, that's the problem. Stop doing that. You need to guide them along so they know that you are the best professional. So I highlight an as is to them, and I also talk about it. And the number one thing that you need to highlight on the inspection period is not where the date is. It's these words right here. It's on line 263 and 264. It says, in buyer's sole discretion. Sole discretion means that the buyer can cancel for whatever they want. Whatever. Let's say it's day 6 and they put 7 days and they drove by the property. Not even go into the community. Let's say it's a community. They drove by the community and the street light was broken. And they called you and they said, I want to cancel. And you say, oh my God, what happened? You know what? I drove by and the street light was broken and I want to cancel. And you start flipping and you throw your stools, your chairs, and your home and all of that. And nobody knows what's going on. They have the right to. Period. So if you already tell the sellers and explain to the sellers why they have the right to do, you will never have that seller upset at you as to why that deal fell through. That is why, and I'm going to guide you again, if you send me on one of my listings an offer, I'm not going to accept 15 days. I'm not going to accept 12 days. The most I'll give you is 10. And I've already talked to my sellers about that. The most I'll give you. Why? And this is why you don't want to do that as a buyer agent as well. I start all my negotiations from the first moment I get to talk to you. And my first conversation does not happen once my client wants to put in an offer. That's where all agents go wrong. My first contact, I did it here today. What did I do when all of you guys were coming in? I gave you my business card. Well, if you have a listing and I have a buyer, most agents will go on Showing Assist, click on the button and make an appointment. That's most agents. But a professional agent that is already trying to create a friendship, a relationship, a way of communication, I go on Showing Assist. I click on the button. I make the appointment, but then I'm texting you. Okay? And my text is, "Hi, Maria. My name is Yuri Flores. I'm with Lifestyle International Realty. I followed your instructions and I already requested the appointment for such and such property, but I wanted to go ahead and send you my digital business card in case the seller is the one opening the door. He's aware who's coming to their door. Thank you so much." Now you receive that text and you're like, damn, okay, appreciate it. I have never gotten an agent say you're wasting my time. I normally get a text back that says, "Yuri, I really appreciate that. What have I already done?" They know who they're dealing with. So if I send them an offer, and trust me, there's been communication throughout, right? Because normally I am the type of agent that will give you feedback. But none like to give feedback. If you visit a property and you get an automatic email from Showing Assist, "Hey, requesting feedback," start giving feedback, because this is a small world. And agents talk about agents that do give feedback and agents that communicate and agents that do not do what should be done. Yes.
Give feedback as, let's say, you were an agent or what the client said?
Both.
So,
Yeah, I don't have a problem. Hey, guys, like I said, don't ask me if your hair looks good, because I will be honest. So, if you're asking for feedback and the property looks bad and it shows bad, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, I think it would help a little bit if they picked up." Guys, and some of my agents are here. I do not take listings unless they do what I suggest. What does that mean? If the property has red colors in the bedrooms, blue colors, I need them to paint. And if they don't paint, trust me, I write it somewhere. Please keep in mind, in case we don't get an offer within I highly suggest that you do follow my suggestion of painting. Why? Because I don't ever want them to say, "Well, the property hasn't sold in 2 months. That's your fault, Yuri." It's never my fault. Do you understand? It's your fault because you didn't listen to me and you didn't clean up, you didn't clear up, you didn't paint, you didn't do this. But the problem is, again, when you go to a listing presentation, you go in, "Oh my God, this is the most beautiful property I've ever seen, Mr. Seller." No, you guys need to explain. Just like I told you when I started the class, I will never ask you to do something without giving you an explanation. "Hey, Mr. Seller, this room is red. You have a dresser, you have 2 nightstands, and you have a bed frame that's a little bit larger. When you paint your rooms in a darker color, what does that do to a room, guys?" So you all know the answer to that. Why are you not pointing that out? That makes you a better agent already, because you're literally telling them what they need to do to get what. And this is the key phrase. I promise you, if you guys begin to use this key phrase from this moment on, you are just going to get better deals. Okay, Mr. Seller, if it's okay with you, so you all show up, you go to the table and you put your stuff there. "Do you mind if you give me a tour of your property?" "Yes, Yuri, I'll go ahead and give you a tour." Okay, perfect. Now give me a tour. Now we're coming back to the table. "Mr. Seller, I just want to make sure that you understand one thing. I'm here to get you the highest price possible for your property. Would it be okay for me to be as honest as possible as to what I think will bring you the highest price?" How many sellers do you think are going to say, "No, Yuri, I don't want the highest price"? Do you guys understand the mentality of that? Am I being honest in that? No seller should be able to tell you, "No, Yuri, I'm not happy with the highest price." No, but what have I done now? I have now switched it from my responsibility as to why we did not get the highest price to them. Do you guys understand that? Now it's their fault. They didn't want to paint. That's on them. They didn't want to clear up. That's on them. They didn't want pressure washing of the roof. They didn't want to pressure wash the driveway. That is on them now. It is no longer on me. So those are scripts and things that you need to practice when you guys do a listing presentation. It is important that you do that, okay? Now, trust me, I've had my fair share of clients, especially the higher price clients. They think that they can do whatever. Now, most higher price clients, their property already looks beautiful to begin with, right? So you have to be able to find the things that other buyer agents are going to find wrong with it, right? I went to a property once, which she told me it's fully upgraded, fully this, the kitchen is redone. As I'm walking and I'm passing the wall to get to the kitchen, I look at the kitchen and I take a breath and I see that there's no cabinets. So my first question was, oh, Mrs. Seller, but I don't see cabinets. And this is a brand new kitchen. Oh yeah, because this is the European way. They basically just have shelving. That's their European way, right? I mean, we have some Europeans here. That's their European way. Yes, thank you very much. But your kitchen is not an upgraded kitchen that's going to generate the highest value, period. That's it, like straight up. Okay. So you have to be able to explain that. And if you have to walk from that listing, oh, well, then you walk from that listing. Because if not, guess what you're going to have? An expired listing, which is a headache. An expired listing leads to a headache because at a certain point on month number 2, month number 3, month number 4, you haven't done anything, because that's what the phone call is going to say. You haven't done anything. You haven't done anything. You haven't done anything. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming. Do you guys understand that? I have a listing right now in Cutler Bay. I told the guy a long time ago, this is their third property that I do for him. You're going to have a problem with the roof. No, we're not going to have a problem because we remodeled everything else. Okay. 2 months on the market. Guess what everybody has said? Problem with the roof because it can't pass inspection, right? It's already an old one, shingles. Okay, Yuri, what do you think? We do the roof? Yes, just keep in mind, if you do the roof now, keep in mind, now you're going to want to raise the price, right? Yeah, of course we're going to raise the price. Okay, what is the MLS going to have? An up arrow. So it had an up arrow. No calls. Well, yeah, because agents see that you raise the price, and now I got to explain to them, so the calls are going to be less. So what did I have to do? Get him to understand, to give me a lowering so I can now have a down arrow. But if he follows instructions for the very beginning, and this is the second time he doesn't follow instructions, because the first time he bought the first house and I told him, you need to do a pipe camera. He didn't do a pipe camera. This is the same house. He had a leak, and how do you find out? He had a $3,000 water bill. And that's where, months of negotiation with the insurance company. Yes. Yeah, that's what we ended up doing because, but his calls, because now the property's been on the market for a long time, right? But again, if he would have done the roof at the very beginning, the property would have been sold already. And now he's arguing over 10 grand. I'm like, okay.
In that moment, we're talking about the roof. In that moment, can we name as a listing agent? Can we negotiate with the seller? Hey, you don't want to do the roof, but if the other part asking for a seller credit, keep that in mind.
Yes, and that's always there. That was done. Trust me, that was done, right? But the problem is that the negotiation doesn't answer for 4-point inspection. So the property still has to pass 4-point inspection. So you need to have all of those things explained to him so he never blames you. Trust me, he hasn't blamed me. He knows not to blame me, right? This is the third property I do with him. But that's the whole point, right? That if you guide them correctly and you make it their fault, you've done your job. You understand? All right, so let's get back to, we're still on page 1, guys. Okay. I told you this. Okay, so 3 days. So a lot of agents like to put 3 days. I don't really like 3 days. I normally put 2. That's up to you, whatever. Why? I kind of gave you an example. What happens with the buyers? Buyers remorse, guys. The more time you give them, the problem. Now, I would never put 1 day. Now, just to be sure, since we already talked about it, everything in real estate is negotiable. So can you put 10 days in there? Yeah. So keep that in mind. Okay. Also, Based on Florida law, do you need a deposit? No. They don't want to put a deposit. Zero. Period. But it is important for you to explain to a buyer, hey, keep in mind, by you not putting a deposit, this is going to make your offer letter. Okay. But if that's what they want you to present, that's what they want you to present. The way I always handle my buyers also, and the same thing for sellers, let them hit the wall. If they want to go against what I am suggesting as the professional in real estate because they are ChatGPT professionals, that's fine with me. They'll hit the wall. They didn't get the property. They lost the property, and that's it. Look, I have a seller at my Miramar property right now. I just got him to say, okay, we received an offer finally after, again, months, because I told him, move your mom out, because I sold him a $2 million property to move his mom, his dad, himself, his whole family into a compound, basically. So now I'm selling his mom's house as well, already sold his dad's house. And I told him, get your mom out and put her in the new house. No, it shows better. No, it doesn't. Your mom has very big furniture. Everything looks smaller. Okay, property's been on the market, did not sell. Now he removed everything. We got an offer. It's at $390. We got it at $370. I negotiated up to $380. I said, go with this offer. They're putting 25% down. There's no reserves. Take this offer. No, I want $390. Okay, lost the offer. They made an offer on another property in the same community. Got another offer, cash, yesterday. 2 days ago. Cash, again, $370. I know how the guy mentality was. We offered $380, and I told him this is a cash guy. He's going to want to win at the end of the day. I'm not accepting less than $380. I'm not accepting less. Okay, that's fine. Guy comes back, $375. He was ready to let it go. And I said, you made a mistake. Those same $5,000, I already had it for you about 2 weeks ago. And you let it go for the same mentality. Okay, I just got the text message as I was coming back. He's accepting the $375 on a cash deal. So I don't even have to worry about appraisal for me. So that's even better. Okay. But again, you got to be able to guide them so that way you can handle them how you need to handle them. Because that's the truth. You are the professional. All right. Now, one thing that a lot of people make a mistake, escrow agent, remember that means the name of the company holding the escrow. And this is another thing, not the name of the person that you talk to. Okay, that's what I mean to say there. So if you deal with Carmen at the title company, no, you don't put Carmen's name, you put the title company's name. Now, here's another thing. A lot of agents believe that this is the closing title company. That is not correct, guys. This is only the company that is doing what? Holding the escrow. So that means that at some point, somebody is going to reach out to you that's from another company and be like, oh, please send me the seller's information. Please send me the buyer's information. You're going to be like, who's this people? Well, that is the closing company. It is important that you guys understand that there's a separation between escrow and between title. That could change at any time. Are we good? Yes? Everybody understands that? Okay, perfect.
Was that though in the additional terms, the closing company?
Well, most of the times they won't even know. Maybe they're looking for a new company now, and they just want those people to hold escrow, and then later they switch it out. So it could come in later at any point. Okay. All right. So additional deposit. This is in the line where you're going to put the dates. Oh, let's talk about if left blank. Okay. Again, I go back to I'm showing you how to put a bulletproof contract together. Never, ever, ever from this moment on, and you can tell anybody that Yuri is the one that told you that you will never leave anything blank ever again. If it doesn't have anything to do with this offer or this contract, you can put N/N/A. But if it says if left blank, then 10 days, and you want the 10 days, then put 10 days there. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Never leave anything blank. Why? At any time, attorneys will try to find any which way to get out of it. And one of the easiest ways that they do that is by saying, oh, my client did not see that. My client did not read that. And you're like, well, it's your client's fault. Well, I'll tell you what they go by. They look and then they ask you, hey, can you please send me an email or text message where you guided your buyer to have an attorney look at this contract? So that is something that you guys need to put and add into your script from this moment on. You need to always at least put it on an email hey, Mr. Buyer, here's a contract that you need to sign. You know, keep in mind that you always have the right to have an attorney look at it. If you ever get challenged, the email's already there. I told my buyer, it's in writing. You guys understand, okay? Because that's one way that they immediately come at you with, okay? So that's important. Now, for you guys, as you look at an offer, as you look at a contract that's been sent to you, always go back to the little asterisks. If you look at every single number, some of them have asterisks. If there's an asterisk, that means that there's something there for you to look at, something to either fill out, to check mark, or anything like that. So always double check, triple check a contract. 100% that you don't have a blank area, that you don't have if left blank, because that's where you are going to miss things. One of the reasons that I love Bold Trail, and now Form Simplicity started to do it, but they don't do it automatic, but Bold Trail does it automatic, is that everything we write in there comes out in what color? Blue. So that means it stands out, okay? When things are in black, I hate it, because that's when you miss things. Do you understand? So that's very important. So I go over line by line by line by line. So don't leave anything left blank. So for example, here, I would put, 15 days or 20 days, and then I would add in the additional deposit. Now, financing, it says expressed in percentage or in dollar amount. Very simple. So if they have a 10% down, that means that their loan is for 90%. So you put 90%. Or you calculate 300,000 times 90%, and that's what you're going to put there. Are we good? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you guys are going to hate me. Well, no, let's go to number 40. Number 40 normally is used in case you have seller financing or any other type of financing, and now there's other monies coming from somewhere else. So and that's when you fill in that line. Most of the times we won't. But what did I tell you? You put NA and you fill out 0 over there. Never leave anything blank, right? Now, you guys are going to hate me for line 41 and 42. I don't know when it started that people were told to put in the word balance. I don't know when it started. You need to stop doing that. And I'll tell you, why do agents do that? What is the reasoning that you have been told to do that? Number one, laziness. I don't like to call our agents lazy, but because we are not lazy, right? Right here in lifestyle. But yeah, number one reason is laziness. Because if you get into a counter offer situation, then everybody hates, oh, but I also got to change that number. And I got to change this number. So balance straight out force. But remember, you do not want to add ambiguity into the contract. The moment you make the contract ambiguous, that's where problems arise. There's only one way to not have a problem, that you calculate the numbers correctly and you put the number in there, okay? One thing that I wish Bold Trail would do is that it automatically calculated the numbers, which Form Simplicity does, but Bold Trail does not. But guys, stop writing in balance. And if you don't know how to figure out that line, reach out to your general partner, reach out to whoever helps you with contracts and have them do it. Reach out to Ronald right here. Ronald will show you how to fill it out. So I'm getting Ronald more business because I need you guys to do it. I'm here for that. I'm here for that, senor. Guys, again, the more things you do correctly, the better chances you have of no lawsuits or any liability on your end. Yes.
Is that balance?
No, don't write balance. Okay.
But is that balance for the deposit or for the total?
No, everything.
Purchase price?
Everything. So let's do a quick calculation, right? So let's say 370 and they're putting 10% down, whatever, right? So you would do 370 times 90%. And that 90% goes over here where it says financing. That's your first calculation. And now that you have the calculations, you start at 370 minus 10,000 minus 20 minus this, then that's your. Are we good? But just remember, if you counter, you have to adjust the numbers. But we'll get into the counter part because I have it over here. Look, how many of you knew that this existed? Nobody? Okay, there you go. Did I, in how many hours? 1 hour and 15 minutes. Have you learned more than 2 things? Okay, perfect. There you go. And we're not even past the first page. So yeah, okay, good. Now you guys see why we need multiple. You've never seen that? You know why? Because agents don't use this.
Toss it out.
Right, and that's a problem because that's what makes it look not clean. And I haven't, that same agent that I'm dealing with right now, I've already had to kind of teach them some things, right? And that's one thing that I want you guys to start doing. So you will grow your brand and grow your name better when you start helping other agents. I promise you, okay? So now you guys took the time to attend this class. Those of you that are online have taken the time to attend this class, and I appreciate that, and I love that. Because I know that when you guys send me an offer, now I have more agents that are going to send me correct offers. Do you guys understand the mentality of that? So it is okay for you guys to teach other people. So I have this guy that, you know, he's been in the business a while and he's got an investor and he made me an offer. And he already told me, because of course I crossed out where he wrote refrigerator again, where he wrote range again, where he wrote this, and I added that to the contract and this and that. And his text message was, and I'll read it to you guys. Give me a second. Because like I said, I don't tell you anything unless it's for real, right? So he said, we want to have a clean version of the contract. So, because he didn't send me a counter, because again, he is a what agent? A lazy agent. He just sent me an email with his counter. I'm okay with that. I'll go ahead and take it from him, right? And then he goes, this is, oh, because at the very beginning, he wanted to just negotiate over the phone. I'm like, no, send me something on paper, period. That's it. Like, you know, I don't deal with that, okay? Oh, but I want to save time. I don't care. I can do a contract in 5 minutes, guys. Don't worry about it. You're not killing my time. You're not wasting my time. Okay. So then he said, also, what is the message in page 11, 12 about the appliances? Because of course I wrote in there, there's only one refrigerator. The ice maker you're talking about is inside the refrigerator. So I detailed it for him. And I told him, I'm like, yes, I put that there because when each item is rewritten again into the contract, basically it's as if there's 2 items included. So as you see, I only removed the items that were doubled. And I had to make sure to mention that there's only one sale on the item. For ice maker, there's no separate ice maker, it's in the built-in. And then he only put, got it. Because of course he hates that, right? Every agent hates that. But guys, I just taught him one thing. Hopefully he makes another offer and he doesn't do that. Trust me, that's how he knows if we ever come into another transaction, you know, he knows I'm going to be on top of it. Do you understand? That's exactly right. And those are things, or me, I would have been in trouble. Because let's say he is a knowledgeable agent, guys. There are, you know, unfortunately, I kind of hate using this word, but there are some shady agents that work for investors. And then at the end, they're like, hey, where's the second refrigerator? Where's the second range? And that's how this investor keeps filling up all his properties, because he keeps adding a second refrigerator and a second range. Guys, those are the things to think about. It's just that we never think about it. So I'm helping you guys understand that. We'll talk about this later. Okay. All right. So stop using balance. Now let's get to time of acceptance. I don't like to receive 24 hours. 24 hours means nothing to me. You guys telling me, and I say you guys in general, I'm not mentioning you guys. I don't care that you tell me that you have another property that you're looking at. I don't care that you tell me that you have another property that you're making an offer in. That means nothing to me. I don't care. Okay. My seller needs time to look at the contract. Okay. So that's how I think when I have the buyer. I normally give the seller 3-4 days to look at this offer. If this is not meant to be, then it's not meant to be. And let's talk about that. So in the buyer consultation, one thing that is important for you to also do is to make the buyer feel comfortable, to take the attention away from the buyer and make the process as stress-free as possible to the buyer. So that's one of the things that I do by showing them my professionalism, by explaining them this and this and that, and telling them their cost up front and all of that at the buyer consultation. One other thing that I talk about, especially when I do this, is Mr. Seller, Mr. Buyer. Look, I need you to make sure that when you're making an offer, this is a property that you really want to make an offer in, but keep in mind that there could be possibilities where another offer might come in. but you need to know what to look for. So if you're a listing agent and you tell me, hey, Yuri, I need you to send me this offer right now, because I possibly have another offer coming in. What is the first place that I run to? Tell me. Anybody know? Not my people. Any? What if the listing agent tells me, Yuri, I need you to send me the offer immediately because I have another offer that I'm waiting for? Where is the first place that I go look for? Where in the MLS? What am I looking for? Exactly. Thank you very much. I look at days on market, right? So for example, if this property has been in the market 120 days and there has been no change in price, no change in anything, what are the chances that today he's receiving another offer? No. Wait. I want to 100% say, yes, there is a possible chance that they probably have a second offer. But I have already prepped my buyer for that, is what I'm trying to say. I've already prepped my buyer. Look, Mr. Buyer, I'm going to guide you and give you all the information that I have access to. Because remember, guys, if I'm going to charge my buyer, let's say the seller is only paying 2.5, and my buyer signed a buyer agreement that they're paying me 3. I might not charge them the full 0.5, but I'll get at least 0.25 out of them. But I need to present to them why I am worth an additional 0.25. And the reason I do that is because I guide them with as much information as possible. So, Mr. Buyer, could that be a possibility? Yes. But let's look at what I see. I have access to this system that tells me that the property has been in the market 120 days. There has been no change in price. Okay? Could that be that they have a second offer? It could be. Just keep that in mind. Okay? If you want to lose it, not lose it, whatever. But the numbers, the odds probably tell me that he says that to every agent. Yes or no? Doesn't every agent automatically say that? You're making an offer. Oh my God, we have another one that just showed up. Okay, that's fine. If we lose it, we lose it. So I prep my buyers and I tell them, look, Mr. Buyer, I believe a lot in energy. And the energy that you put out is the energy that you're going to receive. Are you okay with that? How many buyers are going to tell you, no, Yuri, I hate energy? They don't. Even if they don't believe in it, they're not going to make you feel bad. Do you understand? It just doesn't happen. So then I tell them, I'm like, look, but this one right here that you're making an offer in, they just changed the price this week. There is a possibility that I believe them that there's another offer. So let's make a higher counter. I've already prepped them for that. This one right here just came on the market, and what they did is that they fixed the roof. Could I see that happened? Also, Mr. Buyer, I saw that they had an open house this week that passed. Could that be that they received an offer? Yes. What did I just do? I just educated them as to why there is a higher possibility that there's a second offer. That's important for you to guide them the right way. Do you understand that? And again, you got to give them that information because you just look like the professional. Yes.
Somebody has a question. That they sometimes they'll go on to Showtime to see if there's been any showings scheduled.
Oh, great. That's another. So there you go. See, I just learned something else. Thank you. Whoever that was, I appreciate it. That is 100%. If you go on Showtime will tell you what appointments they've had or anything like that, or things, or anything like that, right? Okay, so now, so again, up to you. I just would never put 1 day. Okay, I would never ever do that. Up to you as to how you're guided or whatever. I normally put 3 to 4 days. Give them the time to think about it. Give them the time. Now, throughout this, I do have kind of a conversation with the agent and all that. Just so you know, when I started back in the days, communication was key. We didn't have social media. We didn't have so much texting. I would go and present the offers at a Starbucks, and I would meet the agent, and I'd be like, "Hey, bro, I'm inviting you to coffee. Let's go. I have a possible offer." "Oh, you already tell me over the phone." "No, man. Let's go have coffee." And I would do that a lot. Okay. Yeah, it cost me whatever, $5, $10. It doesn't matter.
You still do it?
Not so much. And that's not so much because of me. It's more because they just, I don't have the time. And gas, especially now, is a little more expensive, right? So yes.
Think about it. Before that, it was normal. And I wasn't an agent at that time, but I have family that was. That the buyer's agent would present it with the listing agent.
Yes.
And the seller.
And the seller at the seller's property.
At the property.
Yeah, I did 2 of those. Yep.
You did that too?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, out of the two that I remember, one of them, I ended up closing because I'm the one that presented it. If I would have let the agent present the offer, all they do is, oh, this is the price. That's it. They don't explain everything else. Do you guys understand that? And by what I mean by everything else is the contract, guys. I don't mean I'm here to sell my buyer, which is another thing. We're not even getting into love letters, if you guys know what a love letter is. Love letter, you should get away from that. You shouldn't even open it if you have the listing. You should tell, because some agents will tell you, and I also sent some letters that the buyer wrote. I'm like, hey, I'm letting you know right now, I'm not opening that letter. And then I'm saving that text message. I'm not opening that letter because the moment I open that letter, I could be held liable for anything regarding fair housing. Okay, so hopefully you guys have done a class on fair housing and stuff like that. Because anything that you say, oh, my kids loved your house. Oh, really? You mentioned kids? That's fair housing. Okay, so that's a problem. So it's the same thing. We would go there, but we wouldn't talk about family. It's just presentation of the contract. That is it. Okay. All right. So now, when you have the date, okay, let's say you put today is what? Today is 26, and let's say you put the 29th. Okay. Let's say it's a weekday. I forget that it's weekend or whatever. Let's say you put the 29th. The moment it hits that it turns to 12:01 at night, that is already the 30th. This offer is void. Void 100%. Okay? And that's the problem for putting 24 hours. Because if they sent it to you at 3 p.m. and your seller hasn't had a chance to look at it at 12:01, that is void. Basically, I haven't given you 24 hours even. That's exactly right. Do you guys understand that? You got to remember these things. That is a void contract. Now, what do most agents do? Oh, I'm countering. I'm going to cross that date out and I'll put a new date. That is wrong because you cannot do that to a void contract. Now, an attorney will also show you that there's ways that you can revive a contract, but you revive it again by writing a clause in that says lines 45 states this date. This addendum revives the contract to this date. Blah, blah, blah. But again, are we attorneys? So you should not be reviving contracts. Do you guys understand that? And you should not be crossing out that date because it's already dead. You are not allowed to negotiate on a contract that's already dead. It is void. It states it right here. Yes.
If you added, before I did like 5 o'clock of that day, like, is that okay to do?
Okay, so let's talk about Bolt Trail. That's another problem with Bolt Trail.
I can tell them.
So normally, if you click on it, like normally the technology that should, when you click on it, what should pop out of there should be a calendar only. Because it only allows you to put in a calendar. Because we use Bolt Trail to text, so it allows you to write in. You should not write anything in. Because again, it is only a date. It only talks about a date. Do you understand that? Now, what I'm about to go into, it's on the board, guys. I'm sorry for those in the Zoom. I'll try to speak louder, but I'll show you what is another thing that unfortunately is being taught and you should never do. And that goes into your question. So we have always been taught, I'm not saying always, but people are taught to put on or before. Okay? Everybody, at some point, I have no idea when this started. I don't know who started it. And whoever, oh my God, whatever. Can you see? I don't know. I think I changed the input. I don't know who started it. I'm destroying him. But you should stop using on or before. Because again, you are adding ambiguity into the contract. Now you guys are going to be like, oh my God, that doesn't sound like it. Yes, I'm going to give you an answer as to why this adds ambiguity. So again, if we had the system that did not use a text field and that it did use a calendar, maybe whoever handles this for lifestyle can tell Bolt Trail to put a calendar in there instead.
Roberto's on here. You can tell
Okay,
him.
so that's very important because when you leave a text, that's when agents start writing things out. But I'll explain. There's certain things that it's okay for you to write, certain things that you're not. that you shouldn't write. This should be one of them. Stop using on or before. So here's the problem with this, okay? Everybody understands what a loan approval period is, right? Before it used to be called loan commitment, now it's called loan approval. What does a loan approval mean? Tell me.
It means like two things. Maybe you can answer it.
Tell me the main one for agents.
So in my world, loan approval period means like all of the client conditions have to be cleared out. So like Barbara's buying a house, she's good to go. You know,
Perfect.
like, the only thing that's left is like property related, title
Perfect.
related, insurance related.
Perfect. So I'm gonna stop you there. Because yes, that does not mean that there's not some contingencies that still the bank might ask for. Guys, banks run credit even on closing day. Keep that in mind. So understand that. And you need to, again, where should you mention this to the buyer? Buyer consultation. How many of you do buyer consultations? Okay, everybody else should be
Can I
raising their
add
hand.
to what I just said?
Yes, go ahead.
So to eliminate ambiguity,
Love it. I love that.
in my
You said.
world, I
Rocky,
see,
speak a
look,
little louder soon.
Speak a little bit louder.
So to eliminate ambiguity in the loan approval, whatever you want to call it, I just put it into my mind, clear to close. So is this, so I need to get a clear to close within that finance period that you put, and that it eliminates any doubt, any ambiguity. And that's how I roll.
And we'll talk a little bit more as to what that means to your buyer. Okay. All right. But here's the problem. You, the buyer agent, not the listing agent, is responsible to reach out to the seller's agent and let them know what. The last day that you have is that date to let them know what. Who knows the answer? Right. No. What does the loan approval period take? Once that date comes, what do you, as the buyer agent, have to do?
The buyers.
Get all the documents.
Cannot be held, I mean, that's not a contingency anymore for them.
Exactly. That this is no longer a contingency for the buyer, meaning you need to let the listing agent know the buyer will continue or the buyer needs to cancel. Or last case scenario, we need to do an extension of the financing period, not the closing date, guys, the financing period. You guys understand that? Those are the only three options. So guess what you need to do as an agent? The moment you go under contract, you can use either Google Calendar or Calendly or have one of those big things on the wall that tells you the date of everything on the contract. You should get used to, when you are under contract, to send out an email of the most important dates in the contract. So I'll show you quickly. Oh, I don't have, because I'm using your new email. On my email, I could show you, but guys, I just joined 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks. So I don't have one.
That's what we talked about all the time here about the critical dates.
Yes, let me,
Exactly what he's talking about.
let me show you quickly here. Give me 1 second.
Says that why is that, let's disclose that to the other sides too? To protect yourself,
Absolutely.
they try to get out.
Absolutely, we normally, we'll send it to the critical dates, title company.
Yeah.
Lender.
Exactly, everybody involved.
But
Now,
the agent, the buyer will send it to me.
the only people you should not add in there is your buyer. Because remember, you're including the listing. So now a listing agent has your buyer's contact.
No, I'm
So
saying,
you gotta be very
the listing agent, all the buyer and the offer, they'll send me critical dates from the buyer side to, I don't
Okay.
typically,
So that's a good point. But should you?
for myself, I'll do it with my seller, but I typically wouldn't share it with.
No, send it to everybody. Even though you have the listing, the exact same thing that the buyer is doing, you should send